The tropical air over Luzon was shattered by the iconic growl of Pratt & Whitney turbofan engines echoing across the sprawling runways of Clark Air Base. The sound was unmistakable, a harbinger of change and a reminder of the power that now graced the skies above the Philippines. On December 6, 2024, the A-10 Thunderbolt II's Warthogs arrived at Clark Air Base, their aggressive silhouettes stark against the Philippine sky. The arrival was met with anticipation and a sense of history in the making as the aircraft taxied beneath the flags of two allied nations. This was no routine rotation, it was a statement. The presence of these formidable aircraft sent a clear signal to both allies and adversaries alike. As the jets from the 25th Fighter Squadron touched down, ground crews from both the U.S. and Philippine Air Forces watched, aware of the moment's significance. Every landing gear that hit the tarmac was a symbol of renewed partnership and shared purpose. The A-10s, flying tanks built for close air support, signaled a calculated move on the global chessboard. Their presence was a reminder of the enduring commitment to regional security and the defense of shared interests. Pilots emerged from their cockpits, greeted by their counterparts and the weight of a renewed mission. The exchange of salutes and handshakes marked not just camaraderie but a deepening bond between two air forces. This deployment was about more than training. It was a clear message of solidarity and strength. It was a demonstration of unity in the face of uncertainty, and a promise to stand together. The A-10's arrival at Clark, a base steeped in history, marked a turning point in the U.S.-Philippines alliance. The echoes of past conflicts mingled with the promise of a new era as old runways welcomed new guardians. The low growl of the Warthogs was more than engine noise. It was the sound of a renewed promise in an era of rising regional tension. As the sun set over Clark Air Base, the future of the alliance gleamed on the wings of the A-10s, ready for whatever challenges may come. To truly grasp the significance of these aircraft, you have to understand what makes the A-10 Thunderbolt II so unique and irreplaceable. Nicknamed the Warthog, the A-10 isn't sleek or pretty. It's a rugged, no-nonsense machine built for one purpose: close air support, right where it matters most. Its primary mission is to protect ground troops by destroying enemy armor, vehicles, and fortified positions, often flying low and slow to get the job done. At its heart is the legendary GAU-8A Avenger, a 7-barrel autocannon that fires 30mm depleted uranium shells at nearly 4,000 rounds per minute, one of the most powerful aircraft cannons ever built. The A-10 is essentially a flying gun, capable of shredding tanks and armored vehicles from over a mile away, delivering devastating firepower with pinpoint accuracy. The pilot sits protected in a titanium bathtub, while the engines are mounted high and wide to avoid ground fire. Every system is designed for survival. Even if the aircraft takes heavy damage, it can often fly home. This legendary toughness is why ground troops specifically ask for A-10s in desperate situations, knowing the Warthog will come through when the odds are stacked against them. Its reputation, forged in the intense battles of Iraq and Afghanistan, makes its deployment to the Philippines a potent signal of American resolve and capability. The Warthog is not a subtle tool of diplomacy, it's a visible, credible instrument of combat power, instantly recognized and respected by friend and foe alike. Its presence tells adversaries that the U.S. and its allies are prepared for the gritty, close-in fight, ready to defend every inch of ground if necessary. The A-10 symbolizes a steadfast commitment to defend territory and allies with overwhelming force, no matter the challenge. That makes it the perfect platform for deterrence at Clark Air Base, where its mere presence can help prevent conflict before it starts. Its arrival is a clear signal. The U.S.-Philippines partnership is not only enduring, but ready and willing to meet today's challenges together with strength and unity. The A-10s came to Clark for more than show. They came to work. The mission: intensive, integrated training with U.S. and Philippine Air Forces. Pilots planned and executed mock missions together, sharing tactics and building trust. On the ground, U.S. maintainers worked side by side with Philippine technicians, sharing best practices and ensuring both teams could keep the A-10s mission ready. Realistic scenarios focused on close air support, with Philippine pilots gaining first-hand experience alongside the world's premier CAS platform. These exercises built not just technical skills but personal bonds, turning a formal alliance into a true team. The training at Clark reinforced the partnership at its most fundamental level: the individual airman. Both forces left better prepared to fly, fight, and win together. The A-10s at Clark are part of a bigger strategy, dynamic force employment, or DFE. This approach is reshaping how the US projects military power in the Indo-Pacific, signaling a shift from the old playbook. For years, the US relied on large, predictable deployments, easy for adversaries to track and anticipate. These massive buildups were impressive, but they also made American movements transparent and vulnerable to countermeasures. DFE flips the script: be strategically predictable to allies but operationally unpredictable to adversaries. Allies know what to expect, but potential opponents are left guessing. Instead of long-term, static deployments, DFE sends agile, short-term detachments that can move quickly and unpredictably. These units can appear at different locations with little warning, keeping everyone on their toes. This keeps potential aggressors off balance. They never know where US combat power will appear next. The uncertainty forces adversaries to spread their resources thin, making it harder to plan any hostile action. The A-10 deployment to Clark is a textbook example. Rapid, focused, and able to project power anywhere in the region on short notice. It demonstrates how quickly the US can shift its assets to meet emerging threats. It proves the US doesn't need a massive, permanent presence to have a decisive effect. Even a small, well-equipped force can make a big impact when it's unpredictable and mobile. DFE also sharpens US forces, making them more adaptable and resilient. Airmen and crews are constantly training for new scenarios, building skills that are vital in a fast-changing world. Airmen learn to deploy, operate, and move on in contested environments, a critical skill in today's world. This flexibility is essential for staying ahead of evolving threats and challenges. Dynamic force employment isn't just about moving jets. It's about building a force ready to respond instantly, anywhere, under any conditions. It's a mindset as much as a strategy. The A-10s at Clark show that American air power can be brought to bear whenever and wherever it's needed, sending a clear message to both friends and foes. That unpredictability is a powerful deterrent, one that keeps adversaries guessing and allies reassured. The A-10s deployment to Clark Air Base is a direct response to rising tensions in the Indo-Pacific, especially the South China Sea. The Philippines sits at the heart of this strategic crossroads, its islands lining vital trade routes. China's aggressive claims and actions have made the region a front line in today's great power competition. Clark Air Base on Luzon is a forward staging point with direct access to contested waters. From Clark, aircraft can reach the South China Sea in minutes. Reviving Clark as a joint hub transforms the Philippines into an active partner in defending a free and open Indo-Pacific. Projecting air power from the Philippines changes the regional calculus. The A-10's presence at Clark is both symbol and substance, a clear signal of US commitment from a critical location. This move secures a vital flank for stability and international law. The A-10's main mission is close air support, but here, it's about deterrence. Deterrence means convincing adversaries that aggression isn't worth the cost. The A-10s at Clark send a message not in words but in steel and firepower. They pose a credible threat to the assets used in gray zone aggression, like China's maritime militia. The Warthog was built to destroy armored convoys. Swarms of unarmored ships would be easy targets. Their presence forces adversaries to rethink their risk calculations. Stationing A-10s in the Philippines removes ambiguity about US resolve under the Mutual Defense Treaty. It signals that an attack on Philippine forces could quickly involve the US military. The DFE model adds another layer. The US can surge combat power into the region at any time, making threats unpredictable. The A-10s at Clark are a clear warning. The US and its allies are present, watching, and ready. Beyond signaling to China, this deployment strengthens the US-Philippines alliance. The recent expansion of US base access and the arrival of A-10s mark a revitalization of this historic partnership. For the Philippines, joint training with advanced US aircraft accelerates defense modernization and builds real capability. This is a partnership, not dependency. Skills and tactics are shared, making Philippine defense more credible. The renewed cooperation sends a message across Southeast Asia. Standing up for sovereignty doesn't mean standing alone. A strong US-Philippines alliance encourages unity among ASEAN nations and reinforces collective security. Trust is built through action, not words. Deploying the A-10s is a powerful action, moving the alliance from rhetoric to reality. When US and Philippine service members work together at Clark, they forge bonds that make the alliance more relevant than ever. This partnership is now a model for regional security. The A-10S may grab headlines, but the real story is the whole-of-force approach behind the deployment. Bringing a fighter squadron, even briefly, requires hundreds of support personnel, maintenance, munitions, logistics, security, and communications. This deep integration with the Philippine Air Force is where true interoperability is built. For every pilot, there's a team on the ground making the mission possible. US and Philippine crews work side by side, streamlining procedures and enhancing security. Clark Air Base becomes more than a host. It evolves into a combined operational platform. This integration means both nations can project power more effectively and efficiently. Practicing this process sharpens US expeditionary skills and builds Philippine capacity. The alliance is more than aircraft. It's a resilient, multi-layered partnership. Dynamic force employment is about moving and sustaining a complete military capability, not just jets. The result, a partnership ready to meet any challenge. What does the short-term deployment of A-10S to the Philippines really mean? It's a game-changer for Indo-Pacific security. The right platform in the right place, under the right strategy, shifts the regional balance. The A-10 counters gray zone tactics and provides a credible response to maritime coercion. Clark Air Base's location turns the Philippines into a linchpin of forward defense. Dynamic force employment proves the US can project power without permanent garrisons. The arrival of the Warthogs is a symbol of revitalized alliance, practical military strength, and clear deterrence. The rumble of A-10 engines over Luzon is the sound of a new, more stable equilibrium in one of the world's most critical regions.